We need to go on ahead and start the recording. Elena, are you going to start the recording for us? I'm Ann Witherspoon. Elena Aday's on the other screen. And in case you haven't heard, that's John Allen on the soundboard. And he's here to add entertainment and make this maybe a little bit.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
You know, he does this on Friday nights at the football game, so he's very well versed in this. So he'll keep us moving along. Before we get started, we have one housekeeping tip. If you will look on the view little icon up in the top right corner and select speaker, because we're not going to be sharing our screen. So as people are sharing, talking, they'll be the main screen. Are you seeing Elena right now as your main screen? No? Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right. So
you're going to learn today.
Yeah, baby. Before we get started, we've got that. And then let me just run down quickly what we're going to do. I'm going to kind of show you a little bit around the book creator ecosystem. And then Elena's going to show you the different creation tools. And then we'll talk about how Book Creator can be used to impact learning. And then I'll finish up with giving you a pro tip. What grade do you teach?
I'm third grade, self-contained.
Okay, third grade. Okay, great. Okay, so that's good to know, because as we start, your kiddos have access to this, but you're going to want to use the web. So you'll use the Chrome browser on your iPads rather than the Book Creator app, because the Book Creator app is just a paid app. It doesn't have the kids sign in. So you have to use the web. You can check out some Chromebooks on your campus and give them a little bit more real estate. But we'll go ahead and get started. So when you first log into Book Creator, this is a library. And typically what I'm finding is when I log in, it takes me to the last library that I was in, not the teacher dashboard. So to get to the teacher dashboard, you're going to click on the hamburger menu in the top left.
Hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper. Hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper.
Okay, so anyways, there we have several sections of the teacher dashboard. The primary part is right here in the middle, and these are all of the libraries that you create. You'll want to create a library for each class period, or I don't know how many sections, or are you self-contained, or do you have multiple sections?
Yeah, I'm self-contained.
Okay, so for self-contained, you would just create the one library. And when you create that library, you'll name it, and I would attach your name to the creation or the name of the library. So you would click create new library. I would put your name on there, and I'm going to show you why in just a second. This is also where you would set up the library settings. You probably do want to allow them to do an image search. These are going to be copyright friendly images. You will initially want them to be able to edit their own books. When you're done with a project, you'll come back in and turn this off. So you will facilitate this project through this library. And so this will give you the ability to kind of embargo the projects until you get them graded, and then you can always turn them back on. Also, with being able to read each other's books, you may want them that access. You may want to turn that on later. And then for them to be able to collaborate on a book. There's some great resources I'll show you where they've even done like class books and all of the kids were collaborating on it. And then you may want them to be able to publish their books online. When you turn that on, what happens is once they publish their book, it simply gives them an unsearchable link that they can share like with their family. Once they have finished the creation of that. So once you do that and you've created the library, you would open up the library, and right here is an invite code right at the very top. And this is what you will post to Seesaw or Canvas. And so the students will come in and they'll copy that. Then when they come into Book Creator, and so for the younger ones, they would use ClassLink. For the older ones, we're telling the teachers to create a Canvas assignment, Book Creator assignment, and it will get them right in. Students won't have the ability to create a library. They can only join a library. So they would come in, click on the hamburger, and then click Join Library, and they would paste that code. And that's what's going to put them in your library. So once they're in the library, they'll be able to start working. But let me just show you a couple of other things on this teacher dashboard, and then we'll go back into the library and look at some of the particulars there. So the teacher dashboard, like I said, is divided into your libraries and then any libraries that maybe you join. And then up here at the top, we have some different tabs. The Discover tab, and I love this. There's so many resources in here. They've given you some examples by grade level. If you scroll down, they've got examples by content area. Lots of different options here, so you might want to spend time looking there. On the Learn tab, this is a quick way to get some learning in on different areas of Book Creator. And so like how you can app smash and have students create some things in another app and bring them in. So lots of different information there. And then last year, Book Creator launched a certification program. And so they've got about an hour's worth of material here, and you could probably finish this in a couple of hours and become a certified author with Book Creator, and they'll give you a cute little badge that you can add to your Gmail signature. So that is kind of the dashboard in a nutshell. So one of the things, after you create your library and you use it for the school year, at the end of the year, you want to come up here to the three dots and archive it. And when you do that, it's going to disappear from the students' libraries that are listed, but up here in the top next to My Libraries, your students will be able to see your class and then any books that they had that they created while in your class. And it gives them the ability to download them, to make a copy of them and kind of add to. So you want to make sure, and we'll send something out, you want to make sure to archive the books. But let's go ahead and then quickly go through just some of the stuff within your actual library. So when students go into the library, they would typically click right up here, but let me show you a couple of things. Once you get them working, you can see all of the books at a glance by clicking on the waffle.
I don't want 8 waffles. I want 12. I want 12 of them.
And so when I click on the waffle, come on, It's not working for me. You'll be able to see every one of the, let me see if I can refresh my page. There we go. And so you'll just have all those shelves and all of your books are there at a glance. And then if you want to just see this and toggle through the books, then just click off the waffle. This is where you're going to manage the library settings. I mean, you can go back in on the other screen, but when the students are working on their books, you might want to turn some stuff on and off depending on where they are in the project. So just know that for that particular library, you can access those library settings quickly here. Now, students can either come up here and create a new book, and they have 3 different sizes to choose from. These on the top shelf are just plain. These are what they refer to as their comic book blank templates. But I would really, if you're going to have them start from scratch, I would encourage you to use these because they have more assets in them for the students to choose from. It doesn't have to be a comic book, but there are some options for them to choose that the plain ones don't have. But you also have this second tab up here on the templates with some really cool templates. And I love the idea of using the templates because it gets the kids right in and working. And so sometimes you may want to start there with just getting them to play around and mess around with the creation tools and not just have, blank white paper that they're staring at. So think about that. But the other thing you can do is you can do like what I did. I went in and took a template and then set it up like I wanted it, said make a copy of this book. And so the instructions for the assignment were to come in and not click here, but to click right here, come down to the books and make a copy. So this would be a way for you to really zero in on specific things you want the students to do. So these are different book options here. These are the different share options that you have. And then this is the reading option. And I love this because teachers may want to consider creating some content and putting it in the library for the students to read. And they can have it read to them. So I really love that idea. Now, when you're working on a project and you want to manage to make sure that you're monitoring that they're working and not just messing around, you can toggle through, you can go to that waffle, click on the waffle and see all of the shelves. But I love this little drop down and all of your students are under the authors tab. And so then you could click on there and notice, oh, this student hasn't started yet. Let me go visit her and see what the problem is. And so it's just an easy, quick way to be able to get in there and monitor their progress, because when you're doing something as big as writing a book, you need lots of monitoring on that. So that's basically the whole ecosystem in a nutshell. I'm going to throw it over to Elena and let her show you about the creation tools that exist here.
Wow.
Thank you, Anne. All right. So Book Creator allows students the opportunity to get really creative by adding different features. They can make those interactive pages with voices or voice, video, text, images, and so many other things. And all of that's done through these creation tools. So let's take a moment and I'm going to actually dive in a little deeper and show you some of the creation tools and how to get to them. So when you're in the library and you click on this plus new book, notice that it comes, of course, to the main page where students will have a choice as to what size of book they would like to do. And of course, like Ann mentioned earlier, this is also where they could choose a template if they didn't want to do a blank book. So for this purpose, I'm just going to choose a square book. And so when I actually click on the book, then it brings me to the cover page. Now, whether you're doing a cover page or if I click over here on the arrow, this is where you start the actual pages of the book. I have this option up at the top with the plus sign, and this is where you add those items, those creativity tools, or where you can find those creativity tools. So when you hit the plus sign, notice that there's a media tab, and then there's also the shapes tab. So the media tab is where you are able to import. You can import audio files, you can import video, you can import pictures. And of course, it gives you the options to do it from your drive, from files, or from your computer. And then, of course, or you can take your own picture. If you use the camera, just make sure that you enable it. There's pin options, and of course, a lot of different things that I can choose from, styles and so on and so forth. If I don't like it, I can hit the eraser and definitely erase. If I want to do paint bucket and paint the whole thing, I can even do different emojis if I would like on my book, which we all know that everybody likes the emojis. They're also the feature to text. So here's my book. And then, of course, you are able to resize. And since I did a black background, I will want to change it. And so if I come over here to the inspector, that's the I button, then I have a lot more options. And since I have the text selected, then I can change the color to whatever I want it to be. So maybe I want it to be yellow to match my little emoji. I do want to make it a little bigger and maybe bold it. And so there's all different kinds of things that I can do. There is the record feature also. So when you get to the pages, if you would like to record yourself, you can record yourself talking or reading the book even, or explaining something, whether it's a picture or whatever that the kids may put in there. When you go to the shapes, you have all these different shapes that you can insert. And then you also have the option to search. So if I don't like all of the call outs that are there, I can type in and search for other call outs, and I can choose the ones that I want to use within my project. Going back to the I button that I mentioned a second ago, you have the options to make your pages different colors. There is comics. So if there's comic features that I would like to add, I can add comic features. There is different paper types. So if I would like to actually make it look like a written page, or maybe I'm working out a math problem and I need graphing paper, or I could even do, if I'm writing something about music or writing music in particular, then I can have a music paper background. There's borders that can be added. And of course, there's patterns. I mean, the kids can get just as creative as they want. There's textures. You name it, you can pretty much do it under the creation tools. So to add a page, so let's say that I've got these, it gives you kind of the first three, but if there's more pages that I want to add, all I have to do is hit the plus sign here and it adds pages, and notice my page number is going up. If I need to get back to other pages, I can click the pages up here in the top, and then notice here is my book. And then of course I can click and move them, or I can just click on it and it takes me directly to that page so that I can finish editing and adding whatever it is that I need to. And so that is kind of the creation tools in a nutshell. But we know your kids will
Yeah, baby.
your kids will come up and with things that you probably didn't even think of. So now I want to talk to you for just a second about Book Creator and the instructional impact that will have on learning. According to those ISTE standards for students, we are to provide opportunities for our students to be empowered to use technology to show competency. We're also supposed to provide or to build digital citizenship skills in order to recognize rights, responsibilities, and opportunities to be ethical in a digital world, and to become a knowledge constructor to curate and construct content to make meaning, as well as become a creative communicator so that we can clearly express that creativity in a variety of styles and formats in order for them to reach a target audience. And it's those things that we keep in mind when we think about Book Creator, and because it does exactly this and so much more. It's such a great tool to address a wide range of TEKS for any subject area. So what are some of the things or projects that kids can do? What is it that they can curate to show that competency? Well, students can use Book Creator to bring stories to life and create interactive digital portfolios or even reports. And what about journals? Well, whether it's for academic vocabulary or maybe you want to create a learning journal, Book Creator is a great tool to bring those digital stories to life. Maybe even you might consider doing a math journal so that kids or students can explain a certain math concept or steps to a particular math problem. But what a great way to check student competency. Students can even create collaborative step-by-step guides or create their own informational textbooks on a particular concept, and it could be for any subject area. Maybe you have a science lab or experiment coming up. What about using it as a reflection tool to explain your findings or to show your hands-on learning experience? I mean, you're unlimited on the possibilities for using Book Creator. So as you can see, it can be used in a lot of different ways. So Anne, what about our pro tip of the day?
Well, let me get my, okay. So my pro tip of the day actually involves Canvas, but I will just address quickly how you could use that in Seesaw. So in Canvas, what I was saying earlier when I created that library, you would post the links to their invite codes to the library that you create, and they would just enter. For Seesaw, they would just enter through ClassLink. But for Canvas, we have gotten Canvas or Book Creator integrated into Canvas. Book Creator has been integrated into Canvas. I'll get this out. So it's not, I know, really. I will, I promise I'll get this out really quickly. And I'm doing this mainly for the recording because I know, Britton, you probably don't need this, but who knows, maybe third grade may migrate to Canvas next year and you'll be ahead of the game. Anyways, it's not a normal integration. So I've created an assignment here. And so I'm gonna take you through how it was set up. So I created my assignment, I entered the code, and if you were doing multiple codes, you would have like first period in their code, second period in their code, and so forth. And then given them some instructions, and I clicked a link to a rubric that is a Google Doc rubric that I have added to this assignment that will be used in SpeedGrader to grade their books. Even though I'm going to manage this project within the book creator library, I'll still grade in Canvas. So it's I'm going to set it at 100 points, and it's an external tool. I select the external tool. I click and find book creator and hit select. It doesn't really matter how many attempts, because like I say, I'm going to actually manage the facilitation of them working in book creator. I've set a due date, and then I've hit save. So then what this looks like for the student is that they will come in and, oh, one thing that I didn't do. Let me go back. And see, this looks weird. And the reason why is but the book creator people said, when you create this assignment in Canvas, right here, this little guy right here, load this tool in a new tab. It will have a nice, neater look. And so when the students come in, what they'll see is a little button to be able to launch Book Creator in a new window. Now, when students do this, it is going to pop them right into Book Creator, but I'm acting as a student in my course, yet I'm signed in as a teacher. So Book Creator and Canvas are like, what are you doing? So they won't normally see all this. So I'm going to go ahead and continue as a teacher, but it would pop me right in, and the students will come in and they will need to click right here to join the library. And each time you use Book Creator for the first time, your students may be in Book Creator using it with another teacher, but when it's your time to use it for the first time, this is what the students will need to do to be able to come in and add that code. The other thing was, this is a link to the Book Creator rubric that I've created here. And so I have linked this on the slide deck there with the video that I just made earlier today, kind of walking everybody through this process. But my pro tip for the day is basically integrate the assignment into your learning management system, and then turn the students loose with it.
Whoa! Whoa!
Okay, I'm going to throw it back to you, Elena.
All
And
right.
we'll talk about the implementation tab.
All right. So as we have always said, we don't believe that one and done is the way to go when it comes to staff development. So in order to help you implement what you've learned today, we would like to invite you to extend that learning and earn an extra hour of CPE credit by completing an implementation task where you will use Book Creator to produce something to use within your classroom, or design a project for your students to use with Book Creator. So think about a unit of study that you have coming up. Maybe it's a science experiment, a research unit, who knows? But how can you incorporate the use of Book Creator within this unit of study? And to help you out a little bit, this last slide has a lot of resources that we wanted to share with you that you will definitely want to check out. Also, John is going to post a few extra resources from Book Creator in the chat to help you get those creative juices flowing as well. And so one of the resources he's posting is 50 ways to use Book Creator in your classroom. And then there's also 3 other books, one for elementary specific, one for high school, and of course, one for middle school. And so hopefully that will help if you decide to do this implementation task and use Book Creator. So, but whether you decide to use or to do the implementation task or not, either way, thank you so much for joining us. And we would like for you to complete the Google form in order to receive credit for participating today. But if you decide to do the implementation task, there is a link. Well, it's either a link or a file, depending upon what you decide to do, on the form as well. And so wait to fill it out until you get your implementation task done, and then fill out the form and include that link in your file to the task so we can see what you did. So, but thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
Do you
you.
have any questions, Britton?
Yeah, where is this slide deck? Is it in the invite thing?
Oh, can you add the link to the, do you have that, John? Let me pull it up.
We will definitely share it. It's also here. Let me go back to the title slide. There's a bit.ly on here while John's working on. Can you see that?
Oh yeah, at the top.
And we are gonna, we'll post this on our Learning Hub as well. And so the link will be there.
Okay. And then one last question. Y'all talked about at the beginning to use Google Chrome, but then said my kids could go through ClassLink. Is it okay for them to use Book Creator through ClassLink, or do you want them to use the link through Google Chrome?
Well, so when they use ClassLink, does it push them to the app? It does.
Oh, no, I don't know. I thought you were going to ask, does it
Oh.
automatically open their apps in Google Chrome? That's what I thought you were about to ask.
I think didn't we talk about, I'm asking John here. John, did we not talk about trying to get ClassLink to push that to Chrome? It's so weird how they don't have a login. So when we first started messing around with Book Creator, Catherine, who works for Book Creator, was like, now, if you have iPads, they just need to use the Chrome web browser. And because that's how they'll get to their school account. Because I guess the way, initially it was an app, and you just, so it does open to, so it opens to the app. Oh. Yes, but they can't get to their school account on the app. So they need to use, so it might be that we need to play around with this. It might be that you have them just go to, I think it's Book Creator. I'm not sure what it is. I'll look and see. But we need to test that out, and we'll get back with you as to what would be the best way for your students to get to the web version of Book Creator. And we'll get back with you and let you know and post that, because that is a good question and we haven't really played with it.
Okay, we might play around with it tomorrow too, and just
yes,
see.
and let us know. And I would start with ClassLink, because I know that they can manipulate ClassLink to push it to Chrome, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if the ClassLink app on the iPad has that same functionality, but we'll find out. So yes, play around with it tomorrow. Okay. And stay in touch and let us know, and we'll do the same with you. Okay. But thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank y'all. I'm excited to use this.
All right. And take lots of pictures and tweet them out. If you're not a tweeter, then email them to us, and we'll tweet them for you with the hashtag Creative Chromies. Yes, because they would even still be using the Chrome web browser. And so we want to tout that. We're so excited that we have paid for this app. It's really great.
Yes, it looks good. All right. Well, thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, boys.
Have fun storming the castle.